Sijafanya chochote alichoahidi, na akitaka usaidizi wangu ye hurudi spidi. Mtu kama huyu ni vipi tamheshimu? Na alichukua milioni 800 ili ajenge gym, apunguze utambi wake usiojaa, huku wananchi kila pahali wanakufa kwa njaa. Shida ni zile zile tu, hakuna mabadiliko. Budalangi bado watu wanakufa kwa mafuriko. Makueni ni njaa kutokana na ukame, na West Pokot vitafanya uhame.
So who according to you are Kenya's hip-hop founders?
I've gotten in trouble over that story of hip-hop founders. I've actually written several papers saying that when you say hip-hop founders, you're actually saying that certain people started hip-hop. That's not necessarily true, because if you look at the history of hip-hop, and this is in late 1960s, early 1970s New York, you had these people in neighborhoods. So you had the kids who used to go to these old record stores, buy those records and bring them to, let's say, there was Africa Bambata, there was School Hack. And then, so I think hip-hop is usually, it's not down to one pioneer or two pioneers. It's usually a collective effort, because culture does not belong to specific people, it's a collective consciousness, in my view. So we can easily say hip-hop in Kenya started in the 1990s and was a collective effort of people within an urban city of Nairobi specifically. Yeah.
So which Kenyan artists do you think represent hip-hop to the fullest? You know, they represent, when you see them, you see hip-hop.
That's an interesting question, because I'm still not sure what Kenyan hip-hop is exactly. One, because no one has studied it, and two, because, as you say, there is no forum where hip-hop artists sit down and say, you know, this is hip-hop, we are hip-hop, this is what we are doing. And number three, there is no depository in Kenya at the moment where you have music videos, lyrics, and all that poetry, all the things that are associated with hip-hop in one place, either in one radio station or in one website. We don't have anything like that at the moment. So I think I want to reserve my judgment for now until I'm, have more.
So has your study and research on hip-hop culture influenced you in any way?
Oh yeah, definitely. Before, I used to look at hip-hop as the stuff that we used to see on TV. You know the stuff we used to see on TV? Naked girls, you know, hoochie mamas.
Very good for a teenager.
etc. That was my perception of hip-hop before. But then I started to study it, I discovered that's just a small section of American hip-hop, to be specific. And then I've discovered that hip-hop is universal. It's a universal culture. And in as much as it's universal, it's different. As in, African hip-hop is very specific and very African, as opposed to, let's say, American hip-hop, London hip-hop, French hip-hop, etc. And I've also seen the power that hip-hop has. For example, the president of, is it Madagascar, the Seychelles, is a former DJ, a former hip-hop artist, I think. And he's now the president. In Senegal, the hip-hop artists are the ones who put the current president in power. So I've seen the power of hip-hop, and I've seen what hip-hop can do. And it's definitely influenced the way I think and the way I look at things and the way I look at myself as a young person. Because I mean, in Africa, young people are usually delegated to, you know, the periphery. You know, we are the thugs, we are the people who walk around stealing, we're the people who are not serious. But then I can see that hip-hop is something that is giving young people a voice and a platform to be serious and to do something in society. So yeah.
So would you say like your understanding of hip-hop is the same understanding that average Nairobian has? Average Nairobian?
I don't know what the average Nairobian understands hip-hop to be. I would say my understanding of hip-hop is almost the same as a hip-hop artist's understanding of, you know, the people, the few I've spoken to. Because I got my understanding from speaking to them.
So, would you consider yourself more articulate than an average rapper, for instance?
I have problems with the word articulate. The word articulate is usually used to say, you know, eloquent, having a certain kind of understanding and using a certain kind of language. And I think people are articulate at their own level, using their own language and their own understanding. Quite big. Although, being in academia, I have issues with the word ghetto as well, because it's used differently by different people. I think the ghetto is a good place to begin to study hip-hop, in the sense that it's the place where we have very many people living. We have a high number of youth living in those areas. And some of the issues, hip-hop was started because in New York, and when I say hip-hop, I mean modern hip-hop, because my theory is that hip-hop is African. The griot, the West African traditions where the griots used to come and speak to the king and recite poetry, I believe that is hip-hop from a very traditional and basic perspective. But modern hip-hop in New York started because the government had neglected African Americans, immigrants and Latino people in the ghettos of New York. There was no electricity, no heating in winter, there was nothing, no hospitals, no schools, nothing, just gangs running wild. And so at the core of hip-hop is the issue of social justice. These are people who don't have social amenities, and a government is there, elected by the people, validated by the people to provide those amenities. So the ghetto is always a good place to start to understand hip-hop, because our ghettos, to be honest, are very neglected by the government. No amenities, no electricity, no water, nothing.
Do you consider hip-hop culture a culture for the have-nots?
No, I think it's a youth culture. At the very basic level, and I don't want to use this as a definition of culture, but at a very basic level, culture is usually the way of life of a people. It's the way people live, the way people do things, the way people perceive the world, the way they understand the world. So it's not really a culture of the have-nots.
So does hip-hop only thrive in the ghettos?
No, not really, no. I don't think so. But then hip-hop as a culture, you have when you look at the culture itself, you have the audience, and then you have the artists, and then you have everyone else, the government, etc., etc. And these are people who are everywhere. So we are everywhere. Young people are everywhere, whether it's in affluent neighborhoods or in ghettos. I think hip-hop is for everyone.
So how is the ghetto represented in your research?
First of all, I'm not representing it as ghetto. I'm calling them the inner cities. Inner cities, because when you say ghetto, I personally find the word ghetto used in some certain sections, even of academia, in a very derogatory way. And I don't want to portray it like that, because I cannot really claim to live in the ghetto at the moment. I want to portray it the way people will tell me to portray it. At the end of the day, that's what I want to do.
Some of your favorite hip-hop artists locally?
Favorite hip-hop artists locally. Let me think about that one. I'm thinking. Take a pause. I want to think internationally. Hip-hop artists. I have to think about that as well.
Hey, not even KS one?
Okay. One of my favorites is Common. I like him. Yeah.
Common because he's cute.
Because he's cute. I like his music. What do you mean, Common?
So, anything?
Anything about what?
Any favorite rapper line?
No, I don't have any favorite rapper line.
And a verse?
Why are you putting me on the spot, my friend?
No, just kick a verse. Maybe a Craig Mack verse.
No.
A song that you just used to love or you still love. You have to have. Like, as in even one bar.
No, Mafrika, I don't like you putting me on the spot.
Nyama Amboseli, jua likizama pata pa kujificha ka refugee Daudi kabaka. Namna hiyo ndivyo nywele zitageuka white. Ukikutana na mambweha utaitana mashaka, na bado wanakucheka. Ni makanivo na sisemi wako tulangata, hata Kerugoya Mzea huko utakamatwa. Kusimamisha matrisi, inspection ya seatbelt ni mchango hadharani na lazima urespect. Jijini sasa ni darasa, wao ni maprefect wakiokota. Nyama Amboseli, jua likizama pata pa kujificha ka refugee Daudi kabaka. Namna hiyo ndivyo nywele zitageuka white. Ukikutana na mambweha utaitana mashaka, na bado wanakucheka. Ni makanivo na sisemi wako tulangata, hata Kerugoya Mzea huko utakamatwa. Kusimamisha matrisi, inspection ya seatbelt ni mchango hadharani na lazima urespect. Jijini sasa ni darasa.